You're walking every day, and your body is getting worse. The pain, the fatigue, the loss of balance. It's not bad luck, and it's not just age. It's something you're doing every single time you step outside, and almost nobody sees it coming. If you're serious about taking better care of your health, make sure you subscribe. I share simple, practical advice designed especially for seniors. And feel free to leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I always read them and appreciate every one of you. Let's get back to it. What if the one habit you've been trusting with your health is quietly working against you? Not because walking is dangerous, not because you should stop, but because the way you've been doing it, after 50, may be asking something of your body that it can no longer deliver the way it once could. I'm Dr. James Cross, and I need to tell you something I've watched happen far too many times to stay quiet about. My patients come in proud, and honestly, they should be. These are people who wake up early, lace up their shoes, and show up for themselves every single morning. No excuses, no skipping. And something is still going wrong. The knee pain isn't fading, it's building. The fatigue that hits by mid-afternoon isn't improving, it's deepening. The balance they assumed walking was protecting has quietly become less reliable than it was 2 years ago. One of my patients, a man who hadn't missed a single morning walk in over 4 years, came in struggling to descend a flight of stairs without pressing his hand against the wall. 4 years of effort, and the wrong kind of result. So I stopped asking whether my patients were walking. I started asking how. Because these weren't lazy people. These weren't people ignoring their health. These were people working hard, in exactly the wrong direction. And here is what nobody had ever told them. After 50, your body changes the rules. The same walk that built you up at 35 can quietly break you down at 55. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because the body receiving that walk today is fundamentally different from the one that thrived on it before. The science is clear on this. After 50, the body loses between 1 and 2% of its muscle mass every single year, a process called sarcopenia. And as that muscle disappears, so does the joint stability, the shock absorption, and the fine coordination your body depends on with every step you take. Your joints receive less lubrication. Your nervous system responds more slowly to shifts in the ground beneath you. Your cardiovascular system takes longer to move from rest into motion. The walk didn't change. You did. And if no one ever sat you down and explained that, if no one told you that your body after 50 needs a completely different approach, then how would you possibly know you were moving in the wrong direction? You wouldn't. That is not your fault. But that changes today. Hit subscribe right now, because what I'm about to walk you through isn't just a list of tips. It's the difference between staying strong, mobile, and independent through your 60s and 70s, and slowly losing that ability without ever understanding why. You found this. Don't leave without it. The 7 mistakes start now. Before we get into the mistakes themselves, I need you to understand something first. Because if you don't understand this, the 7 mistakes won't fully make sense. You'll hear them, you'll nod, and you'll forget them by tomorrow. But once you see what's actually happening inside your body after 50, everything that follows is going to land differently. So stay with me here. Think about a car that's been well maintained for 20 years. Same engine, same frame, but the parts have aged. The suspension isn't as forgiving. The tires have less grip. The engine takes a little longer to warm up on a cold morning. You wouldn't drive that car the same way you drove it off the lot. Your body after 50 works on that exact same principle. Here's what's changing beneath the surface, and changing fast. First, your muscles are shrinking. Not dramatically, not visibly at first, but consistently, every single year, muscle fibers are dying off faster than they're being replaced. And muscle isn't just about strength. It's the primary stabilizer of every joint in your body. Less muscle means your knees, your hips, your ankles are absorbing impact they were never designed to handle alone. Second, your cartilage, the cushioning between your joints, depends almost entirely on movement quality to stay nourished. It has no direct blood supply. It feeds through compression and release, the gentle pumping action of proper movement. When your walking mechanics are off, that cartilage slowly starves. Third, your circulation isn't as efficient as it was. After 50, blood flow to working muscles takes longer to ramp up, which means your body is playing catch-up during the early minutes of every walk. Push too hard, too fast, and you're working against a system that hasn't fully switched on yet. But here's the one that surprises most people. Your nervous system is changing too. Balance and coordination don't just live in your legs. They live in the constant, rapid conversation between your feet, your inner ear, your eyes, and your brain. After 60, research shows that proprioception, your body's ability to sense its own position in space, measurably declines. You're receiving less feedback from the ground with every step. You're reacting more slowly to uneven surfaces. This is why falls become more common with age. Not because people stop paying attention, because the system that catches them quietly becomes less reliable. Now here is what I want you to understand, and this is important. None of this means you are broken. None of this means walking can't still be one of the most powerful things you do for your health. It means walking has to be done with awareness, with intention, with respect for what your body actually is right now, not what it was 20 years ago. Because the people who understand this, they keep moving well into their 80s. The ones who don't, that's who I see in my office. The first mistake is coming up, and it catches almost everyone. So now you understand what's happening inside your body after 50. The muscle loss, the joint changes, the nervous system quietly becoming less responsive, the cardiovascular system that needs more time to get up to speed. You understand that your body has changed the rules. Now let's talk about the first, and one of the most common, ways people unknowingly break those rules every single morning. Picture this. You wake up. You're motivated. You've committed to your health, and that commitment feels good. You step outside, the air is crisp, and within 30 seconds you're walking at full pace, arms swinging, stride long, moving like you've got somewhere to be. That feeling of momentum? I understand it. It feels like health. It feels like effort. It feels like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. But inside your body, in those first few minutes, something very different is happening. Your muscles are still cold, not metaphorically, literally. Muscle tissue that hasn't been warmed up is stiffer, less elastic, and significantly more vulnerable to micro tears with every forceful contraction. When you launch straight into a brisk walk without easing in, those cold muscle fibers are being yanked into full load movement before they're ready for it. And it's not just your muscles, your joints, remember, already receiving less lubrication than they did 10 years ago, haven't had time to produce the synovial fluid that cushions movement. That fluid builds up gradually with gentle motion. Skip the gradual part, and your joints are grinding against each other with far less protection than they need. Then there's your heart. At rest, your cardiovascular system is running at idle. Blood flow is calm, blood pressure is low, your heart rate is slow and steady. The moment you stand up and start moving fast, your heart has to spike, rapidly, to meet the sudden demand. After 50, that spike is harder on the system. The vessels are less flexible. The transition is less smooth. Research published in Exercise Physiology confirms it. A gradual warm-up lasting just 5 to 10 minutes significantly reduces cardiovascular strain during moderate exercise in older adults, and measurably decreases the risk of exercise-related cardiac events. 5 to 10 minutes. That's all it takes to protect yourself. But here's what makes this mistake so easy to fall into. It doesn't hurt immediately. You don't feel the micro damage in your muscles during the walk. You don't notice the extra joint friction in the moment. The cardiovascular stress passes quickly once your body adjusts. So you finish the walk, you feel fine, and you assume everything went well. But this is exactly how damage accumulates silently after 50. Each walk without a proper warm-up adds a small, invisible layer of stress to joints and muscle tissue that is already recovering more slowly than it used to. One walk feels like nothing. 30 walks, 60 walks, 100 walks. And suddenly there's a knee problem that came out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. It was built, slowly, one rushed start at a time. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. For the first 5 minutes of every walk, slow down. Move at a pace where conversation feels completely effortless. Let your muscles warm. Let your joints lubricate. Let your cardiovascular system transition properly from rest into motion. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's the difference between a walk that heals you and a walk that quietly costs you. Starting slow is how you protect everything that keeps you moving. Mistake number 2 is one most people don't even realize they're making. because they can't see it while it's happening. It feels normal, it feels comfortable, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Watch people walk for just 5 minutes, anywhere, a park, a street, even a hospital corridor. You'll start to notice a pattern: heads drifting forward, shoulders rounding inward, eyes fixed a few feet ahead on the ground. At first glance, it looks harmless, just a relaxed way of moving. But beneath the surface, this position is quietly placing your body under constant strain. Let's break down what's actually happening. Your head weighs around 5 kilograms, roughly the weight of a bowling ball. When it sits directly over your spine, your body carries that load efficiently. But the moment your head shifts forward, even slightly, that load multiplies, not by a little, by a lot. Biomechanical studies have shown that for every few centimeters your head moves forward, the effective weight on your neck can double or even triple. Now imagine carrying that extra load continuously for 20 or 30 minutes every single day. That tension doesn't just stay in your neck, it spreads into your shoulders, down your upper back, and eventually into your lower spine, which begins compensating for a position it was never designed to support. But here's where it gets more subtle and more important. Your breathing changes. When your shoulders round forward and your chest collapses, your lungs physically cannot expand the way they should. Your diaphragm, the primary muscle responsible for deep breathing, loses its range of motion. So your body adapts. You start taking shallow breaths, short, inefficient upper chest breaths that deliver less oxygen with every inhale. And now something interesting happens. You begin to feel tired faster than you should, not because your legs are weak, not because you're out of shape, but because your body is literally underfueled. Less oxygen means less energy. Less energy means earlier fatigue. And over time, that fatigue becomes your new normal. You start to believe it's just age catching up with you. It's not. It's posture. And there's one more layer to this that most people never consider: alignment. When your upper body shifts forward, your entire structure has to adjust to keep you from falling. Your lower back arches more than it should. Your pelvis tilts. Your knees begin to track differently with every step. And just like that, a simple walk becomes a chain reaction of mechanical stress traveling through your body, step after step, day after day. The correction isn't complicated, but it does require awareness. As you walk, imagine a string gently lifting you from the top of your head, not forcing you upright, just guiding you into alignment. Let your shoulders relax and fall naturally back. Keep your chin level, your eyes forward, not down. Open your chest just enough to allow a full breath. That's it. No stiffness, no exaggeration, just alignment. Because the goal isn't to walk harder, it's to walk in a way your body can actually support. And once you feel the difference, once your breathing deepens, your stride smooths out, and that unnecessary tension disappears, you'll realize something important. You weren't low on energy, you were leaking it. And the next mistake? It's one that makes people feel productive, while quietly undoing all their progress. I see this pattern all the time. During the week, life gets busy. Work, responsibilities, appointments, everything competes for attention, so walking gets pushed aside. But then the weekend comes, and suddenly there's time. So what happens? People go all in. One long walk, maybe an hour, sometimes 2. A deep sense of accomplishment follows, like they've checked a box for their health. I made up for it. That's the phrase I hear. But your body doesn't work that way. Your body does not respond to effort the way your mind does. It doesn't reward intensity, it responds to repetition. Every time you move, your body receives a signal. Walk today, and your muscles are told, stay active. Walk again tomorrow, and that message gets reinforced. Do it consistently, and your body begins to adapt. Your heart becomes more efficient, your circulation improves, your joints become more resilient under load. This is how progress actually happens, not through bursts, through patterns. Now let's look at the weekend approach. 5 days of minimal activity, then suddenly a long, demanding walk. To your body, that's not consistency, that's stress. Your muscles haven't been engaged regularly, so they're less prepared. Your joints haven't been moving enough, so they're stiffer. Your cardiovascular system hasn't been gradually conditioned, so it has to work harder, faster, to keep up. And just like that, what was meant to help you becomes something your body has to recover from. Research in exercise science consistently shows that moderate activity performed regularly, most days of the week, has a far greater impact on cardiovascular health, metabolic function, and joint longevity than infrequent high-duration sessions. In simple terms, a 20 to 30-minute walk done 5 times a week will do far more for your health than a single 2-hour walk on a Sunday. Not because it's longer, but because it's repeated. And there's another problem with the weekend walk that most people don't connect: pain. You go for that long walk, and the next day your knees ache, your hips feel tight, your lower back is stiff. So what do? You rest. Not because you plan to, but because you have to. And now you've unintentionally created a cycle. Walk hard leads to feel pain, leads to avoid movement, leads to repeat next week. Over time, your body starts associating walking with discomfort instead of strength. And that's when people begin to say, maybe walking just isn't for me. But walking isn't the problem. The pattern is. Your body thrives on rhythm, predictable, steady input. That's how it builds strength without overload. That's how it improves without breaking down. And after 50, this becomes even more important, because your recovery capacity is not what it used to be. You don't bounce back from stress the same way you did at 30. So instead of stacking stress and hoping your body keeps up, you give it something it can actually adapt to. Here's what that looks like. Shorter walks, more often. Even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes to start, then gradually building up. Not forcing progress, but allowing it. Because the goal is not to prove something in a single day. It's to build something that lasts. And once that rhythm is in place, once your body starts expecting movement instead of being surprised by it, you'll notice something shift. Walking stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like support. But there's another mistake that can undo even the most consistent routine, and it's one almost everyone is carrying in their hand while they walk: your phone. 20 years ago, this wasn't even a conversation. Walking meant being present, looking ahead, being aware of your surroundings. Now, it means notifications, messages, scrolling, checking one thing, then another, then another. And the entire time, you believe you're still doing something good for your health. But your body tells a very different story. The moment you look down at your phone, your posture collapses, your head tilts forward, your shoulders round in, your chest closes. Everything we just fixed in the last chapter disappears instantly. And not slightly, significantly. Because when you're looking at a screen, your head drops even lower than it would during normal slouching, which means the strain on your neck and upper back increases even more. But posture is only part of the problem. The real risk is something deeper: your awareness. Walking might feel automatic, but it's not. Every step you take depends on constant feedback between your eyes, your inner ear, your muscles, and your brain. This system is what keeps you balanced, stable, and able to react to sudden changes in the ground beneath you. After 50, that system becomes less precise. Not dramatically, but enough. Studies in aging and neurology show that as we get older, the body relies more heavily on visual input to maintain balance. In simple terms, your eyes become more important than ever in keeping you steady. Now think about what happens when your eyes are locked onto a screen. You stop seeing what's in front of you: uneven pavement, a loose stone, a curb that's slightly higher than expected, a wet surface, a small misstep that 10 years ago your body would have corrected without effort, now becomes something much harder to recover from. And this is where things change from inconvenient to serious. Because a fall after 50 is not the same as a fall at 25. It's not something you just brush off. It can mean weeks of limited movement, months of recovery. In some cases, a level of independence that never fully returns. And the part that makes this difficult to accept? It feels harmless. You're not running. You're not taking risks. You're just walking and checking your phone. But that small habit is removing the very system your body depends on to keep you safe. There's also something else being lost here. Something most people don't even realize walking gives them: mental clarity. When you walk without distraction, your brain engages with your environment. It processes movement, space, rhythm. It resets. It sharpens. There's research showing that simple, mindful walking can improve cognitive function and reduce mental fatigue. But when your attention is trapped in a screen, that benefit disappears. Your body is moving, but your brain is somewhere else entirely. The fix is simple, but it requires discipline. Put the phone away before you start walking, not halfway through, not after one quick check, before you even take your first step. Because walking is not just about movement, it's about awareness. And without that awareness, you're not just losing benefits, you're increasing risk. And the next mistake? It's something even people who walk perfectly still get wrong, because they believe walking is just about their legs. It's not. Walking is a full-body process, a coordinated system where everything, from your shoulders down to your feet, works together to keep you balanced, efficient, and protected. When even one part of that system is off, the rest of your body has to compensate, and over time, those compensations add up. Let's start with something simple: your arms. Watch how most people walk, and you'll notice it immediately. Arms hanging still, locked at their sides, or tucked into pockets. It feels relaxed, comfortable, effortless, but that stillness comes at a cost. Your body is designed to move in a cross pattern. When your right leg moves forward, your left arm swings forward. This isn't random, it's built into your nervous system. It stabilizes your spine, it balances rotation, it reduces strain on your lower back. Take that away, and your body has to find another way to stay balanced, usually by twisting more through the lower spine. And that's where discomfort begins. Now let's move down, your feet. After 50, something subtle starts to change. The natural cushioning under your feet begins to thin. The small muscles that support your arch begin to weaken. And suddenly, every step you take carries more impact than it used to. If your shoes aren't supporting you properly, that impact doesn't just stay in your feet. It travels up through your ankles, into your knees, into your hips, and eventually into your lower back. What makes this dangerous is how invisible it is. Your shoes might look fine on the outside, no tears, no obvious damage. But inside, the cushioning has compressed, the support has weakened, and your body is absorbing more force with every step than it should be. Research in biomechanics shows that reduced shock absorption increases joint loading, especially in the knees and hips, meaning what you're walking on matters more than you think. And finally, something almost nobody considers: recovery. Walking feels easy, so people assume it doesn't require any follow-up. No hydration, no stretching, no rest. Just walk and move on with your day. But your body doesn't see it that way. Every step creates small amounts of stress in your muscles and joints, and the only time your body actually improves is when it recovers from that stress. Without enough water, your muscles lose elasticity. Without stretching, they tighten over time. Without rest, your body never fully adapts. So instead of getting stronger, you slowly become more rigid, more fatigued, more prone to discomfort. And here's the part that matters most. None of these mistakes feel serious on their own. Not the arms, not the shoes, not skipping recovery. But together, they create a pattern, a slow, steady accumulation of stress your body is no longer equipped to ignore. And that's how people end up confused. I've been walking for years. Why do I feel worse? Because it was never one big mistake. It was several small ones, done consistently. Now here's where everything comes together. Because once you see these patterns clearly, you can finally change them. And the shift that happens next, it's what separates people who stay strong into their 70s from those who slowly lose that ability without realizing why. For a long time, you may have believed something was wrong with your body, that the stiffness, the fatigue, the small aches creeping in over time were just part of getting older, something to accept, something to manage. But now you know better. Walking wasn't failing you. Your body wasn't betraying you. You were simply following a set of habits that no longer matched the body you have today. And that realization changes everything. Because every single mistake we've talked about, starting too fast, walking with collapsed posture, treating movement like a once-a-week event, letting your attention drift to your phone, ignoring how your arms move, what your feet absorb, and how your body recovers. None of these are permanent problems. They are patterns. and patterns can be changed. This is the turning point, the moment where walking stops being something you hope is helping and becomes something you know is working for you. But there's one truth I need you to hold on to. After 50, small mistakes are no longer small. They don't stay isolated, they stack, they compound, and they show up later as problems that feel sudden, but were actually built slowly, step by step. The good news? That same principle works in your favor. Small corrections, done consistently, create strength, stability, confidence. It doesn't take extreme effort. It takes awareness, a slower start, a taller posture, a consistent rhythm, a focused mind, the right support under your feet, and the discipline to let your body recover. These are not big changes, but they are powerful ones, because they work with your body instead of against it. And when that shift happens, you'll feel it. Walking becomes smoother, lighter, less like effort, and more like support. Your energy lasts longer. Your balance feels steadier. Your body starts responding again. And that's the goal. Not just to keep moving, but to keep moving well. Because independence, real independence, doesn't disappear overnight. It fades, slowly, through habits that seem small until they're not. So the question isn't whether you should walk. You already know the answer to that. The question is, will you keep walking the same way? Or will you choose to walk in a way that actually protects the life you're trying to maintain? Because one day, your body will reflect the choices you make now. Every step, every habit, every detail. And the difference between staying strong or slowly losing that strength may come down to something as simple as how you walk out your front door tomorrow. If this opened your eyes even a little, don't ignore that feeling. Subscribe now and take control of your health while you still can. Because the people who stay active, capable, and independent into their later years, they're not lucky, they're informed. And now, so are you. Thanks for watching all the way through. Staying informed is key to living a healthier, longer life. If you want more simple, practical health advice, make sure you subscribe and tap the next video on your screen. And before you go, leave a comment and rate this from 1 to 10. Your feedback helps me create better guidance for you.